Pistol shots ring out in the barroom night. Enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees the bartender in a pool of blood, cries out, "My God, they killed them all." Here comes the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he's never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. He could have been the champion of the world. Why-oh. Three bodies lying there, does Patty see, and another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. "I didn't do it," he says, and he throws up his hands. "I was only rubbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw them leaving," he says, and he stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Patty calls the cops. And they arrive on the scene with their red lights flashing on a hot New Jersey night. Meanwhile, far away in another part of town, Ruben Carter and a couple of friends are just driving around, the #1 contender for the middleweight crown. And they had no idea what kind of shit was about to go down when a cop put them over to the side of the road. Just like the time before and the time before that. In Patterson, that's just the way things go. If you're black, you might as well not show your ass upon the street, unless you wanna draw the heat. Bello had a partner and he had a rap for the cops. Said him and Dexter Bradley were just out prowling around. "I saw two men running out, they looked like middleweights. They jumped into a white car with out-of-state plates." And Miss Patty Valentine just nodded her head. The cop said, "Red little boys, this one's not dead," and so they took him to the infirmary. And though this man could hardly see, they told him he could identify the guilty man. 4 in the morning and they haul Ruben in. They took him to the hospital and they brought him upstairs. The wounded man looks up through his one dying eye. Says, "What do you bring him in here for? He ain't the guy." Well, that's the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for is something that he's never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. Four months later, the ghettos are in flame. Ruben's in South America fighting for his name, while Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in the robbery game. And the cops are putting the screws to him looking for somebody to blame. Remember that murder that you happened in the bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? You think you'd like to play ball with the law? Remember that fighter that you saw running that night? Don't forget that you are white. Don't forget that you are white. Don't forget that you are white. And after Dexter Bradley said, "Well, I'm really not sure." The cop said, "Poor boy like you could use a break. We got you for the motor job and we're talking to your friend Bello. You don't want to have to go back to jail, so be a nice fellow. You'll be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We want to put his ass in stir. We want to pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman Jim." Ruben could take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it all that much. "It's my work," he'd say, "and I do it for pay. And when it's all over, I just as soon go on my way. up to some paradise, where the trout streams flow and the air is nice, and ride a horse along a trail. But then they took him to the jailhouse, where they tried to turn a man into a mouse. He could have been the champion of the world. Yeah, that's the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he's never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. He could be the champion of the world. Now all of Ruben's cards were marked in advance. The trial was a pig circus, he never had a chance. The judge made Ruben's witnesses drunks from the slums. To the white folks who watched, he was a revolutionary bomb. And to the black folks, he was just a crazy nigger. No one doubted that he pulled the trigger, though they could not produce the gun. The DA said he was the one who did the deed, and the all-white jury agreed. He could have been the champion of the world. Reuben Carter was falsely tried. The crime was murder one. Guess who testified? Bello and Bradley, and they both boldly lied. In the newspapers, they all went along for their ride. How can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hand? To see him obviously framed, couldn't help but it makes me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game. Now all the criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sunrise, while Reuben sits like Buddha, let 10-foot sail, an innocent man in a living hell. Well, that was the story of the hurricane, but it won't be over till they clear his name and give him back the time that he's done. Put him in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion